Religious Tradition of Judaism. So Judaism is the form of Jewish religion that has developed since the destruction of the temple in 70 AD. You're a devout Jewish person. You believe God chose Jerusalem as the place for worship for your people according to the covenant made with your ancestor Abraham. And that temple is gone. And it's not going to be rebuilt anytime soon. That shifts how you practice your religion. It has to. When you can't offer sacrifices in accordance with Leviticus. The main three groups that were the movers and shakers in the first century were the Sadducees, the Pharisees, and the Zealots. The Pharisees are the ones that then survive it. And they really define Judaism. It's the Pharisaic religion, or the Pharisaic version of Judaism, that tends to define what is Judaism. The Talmud is kind of the big overarching name for Jewish holy literature, okay? And within it is the Bible itself, but then it's got these books of commentary, of instruction that reflect the Jewish tradition. And for Jews, really the Torah is everything. It's the center point. It's the point of gravity, if you will, around that everything else revolves. All the commentaries go back. They not only are commentaries on the Bible itself, but they're more specifically commentary on how to live Torah. How do we implement what was given to Moses? If you or I were to sit under a rabbi today, as a devout Jewish person, then we would be learning Talmud. And the rabbi would guide us step by step through a process of engaging the written text of the Talmud. I wouldn't just read it on my own. I wouldn't just go down to the bookstore and go buy a copy of the Talmud and sit there individually with my solitary self and read and study Torah or Talmud for that matter. Right? It's done in community. It's done under the direction of a rabbi. Jesus himself, right? He gets disciples. He trains them. He teaches them. They learn under him, right? The big emphasis within Judaism is not so much on theology, but on practice. Religious practice. And so the religious practice, the big one is, of course, Sabbath keeping. The yearly festivals and feasts, these are markers on the calendar. So for Jewish religious practice, it's basically governed by the yearly calendar. It's the doing of it. It's a way of life. It's something that is embraced wholly. You don't just learn about it in an academic, sort of abstracted sense. This is not part of the ethos of Judaism. You embrace it fully. We're going to have different groupings. Orthodox Judaism, you have the Hasidic Jews, you have conservative Judaism, and you have Reform Judaism. And then there's also the Kabbalah. The people of Israel have been brought into covenant by the God of the universe in order to be a blessing to all humanity. Shabbat is holy, sacred space. When they carve out that 24-hour period, they are carving out space for God to enter into. That's how they see it. It's a very beautiful idea. We have much to learn from this. Also, living a moral, upright life, honoring God in community is another way to do this. You're literally inviting God into human life by living an honest, righteous life. And then, of course, most religious Jewish people do still expect the Messiah to come. They have varying ideas about what that looks like and potential timing of it and conditions for it, that kind of stuff. But they do, in fact, expect their Messiah to come. Hasn't come yet. Obviously, they don't embrace the idea that Jesus is Messiah.